Hi guys, new and old, welcome to our channel, Analyzing Life. All feedback is welcome, but I do ask that everyone be kind to one another. We have enough hate in life, so let's focus on compassion and kindness here and discuss the things that really matter. And of course, analyze every case that we can. Right now, let's discuss missing Orrin and Orson West. 3 and 4-year-old Orson and Orrin West, birth names Classic and Sincere, went missing from their California City, California home on December the 21st of 2020. And as some of you may know, I posted the interview that the police chief did yesterday on the community wall, but if you guys have not had a chance to take a look or listen to it, I do want to go over that interview in this video. So basically, here's what we know from what the police chief said in that interview with, I don't know if it was KGET that he done the interview with, but nonetheless, here's what we know. He does confirm that the police have collected, quote, many pieces of what they think could be evidence. Multiple people have been questioned. There's also been searches in multiple places. There's nothing at this point that shows what happened to the boys or where the boys are at. He was certain to say, quote, as far as the adoptive parents' statement, the boys were last seen by them at their Aspen Avenue home in California City. As far as anyone else seeing the boys, it was before December 21st, which may I go ahead and add here. We already know that much. He seemed to be very vague and careful when he was speaking on this, but he says he isn't sure when someone other than the adoptive parents seen the boys last. He said the people we've talked to maybe saw them before, way before, days before. So he said they're trying to nail all of that down, but after he hasn't been able to come up with who has seen them since. So again, he was pretty vague and just being very careful, in my opinion, about the information he was trying to get out there. He went on to say no updates recently because he doesn't have a lot of new information that he can share. So I'm wondering, does this mean that they're getting closer maybe and they just can't come out and say? Because we know they've got to keep information behind the vest. You know, they've got to have information that they're not going to relay to the general public. So I'm hoping, you know, him saying, quote, that no new information, quote, he can share, you know, I'm hoping that does mean something. He says that they do have hours of camera footage from the neighborhood, hours of body cam footage, and hours of interviews, and they're currently going through all of this. So basically, that alone, the footage, it tells me that they know a lot more, and they're just not saying, they're not releasing it. But, you know, it kind of explains to me, him saying that they have all of this footage, and we know that he even said they were focused on that house. That's what they were focused to, because they could not figure out how those boys got out of the yard, the house. So therefore, you know, that was the primary focus, and I can imagine all of the other history, you know, that's going to be on that camera footage. You know, those days leading up to, or even some footage, I know ours, it'll overrun what's done that week before, but even if it was a week before, that footage is going to possibly show how many kids were getting in the van, you know, at any given time, and maybe they can get a more clear picture of what we were able to see from the neighbors' footage. But I'm hoping that that camera footage, it could very well be significant. He says that there's been a couple of search warrants and quite a lot of evidence has been taken from the home. He said it's been taken from the house, from the garage, from the backyard, from the building, which he called a shed. So he said it's been about a week and a half since the last search that they did at the property. And during that last search about a week and a half ago, there was one piece of evidence that they retrieved from the home. He said no significant evidence has come back from the house, quote, as of yet. So again, I'm hoping that they're just waiting on a lot more to be analyzed, to be looked over, and hopefully, something's going to come up, something. He did confirm that Trezell had the windows boarded and that Trezell and Jacqueline are no longer residing in the house on Aspen Avenue, and Trezell and Jacqueline are allowed to come and go as they wish. So they can come there, go to the house, get items out of the house. They can do that. Jacqueline and Trezell have been cooperative, he says, and he does know their location, and they are residing at the moment. They're staying in Bakersville. Is it Bakersville or Bakersfield? Bakersfield. They're staying in Bakersfield at the moment. He confirms that every bit of the house has been searched. There's no hidden rooms that he's found. And I know that hidden room, I think a previous tenant or owner had said maybe it was in that shed building out back. But he said there's no hidden rooms that they found inside the house, and that the house is on a concrete slab foundation. So therefore, basically, there would be a very slim chance, because that concrete slab would have to be taken up to get, anything underneath it. So it's highly undoubtful that the children are under the house, like some of the rumors were. He did go on to say that search and cadaver dogs have been brought in, and he says that the dogs haven't hit on anything anywhere in that house. He says that he has 13 sworn officers on the Cal City Police Department, and he has one dedicated crime analyst that works only on cold cases. He says that 4 agencies were working on this case, and now it's been decreased to 2 agencies. The FBI is still processing evidence. He says it is not likely that the boys just walked out of their house and went missing. So when he made that comment, it's around the 1346 timestamp. When he made that comment, I'm thinking, what exactly is he saying? What exactly is the chief saying without actually coming out and saying it? He says, again, it's not likely the 2 boys just walked out of the house and went missing. So what do you guys take from that statement? That tells me that obviously he doesn't think the boys ran off like Trezell is saying. But again, let me know what you guys think about that statement. And it's at the 1346 mark in the interview, which I will put in the description here, but it's also on my community page from last night. He's also saying that he's staying optimistic, and he hopes, like all of us, that the boys are alive. He says that he welcomes private investigators, but he does ask that they do not impede on the police investigation. He says it's not close to being a cold case. They're still actively looking. And the chief did confirm again that Trezell and Jacqueline are currently in Bakersfield, and that Trezell and Jacqueline have been readily available every time they've reached out to them, and that they have never been in protective custody. Chief was asked if there's any reason to believe an arrest will be made soon, And his words were, "I won't comment on that." So that gives me a little bit of hope, but what about you guys? What do you think about that? When asked, do you think there's going to be an arrest soon? Police chief says, "I will not comment on that." And for those curious minds, I know I have spoke of it in a past video, Chief said he was an actor. He retired from Los Angeles Police Department in 2015, and just to relax, he pursued an acting and a music career. He says he's getting ripped for that 2015 promo video that he did. He says everyone has a life outside their professional career, and that was 2015, and in no way does it interfere with him doing his current job, and that's trying to find these boys. Now, the reward is up to $100,000, and anyone with any type of information on missing Orrin and Orson West is urged to call the tip line, and you can remain anonymous. And that number is 661-322-4040. Again,